Hey guys, welcome to my legal classes. I'm going to cover Muslim marriage, that is Nikah, in this class. Advantage of my class, my English is very easy. I'll keep the pace a little slow so that you can grasp the contents, and I will also mix up Hindi so that the students who are writing the exams in Hindi can also follow my lecture to an extent. Muslim marriage, that's Nikah. I am starting with few definition. The first thing that we need to understand is Nikah is an Arabic word. The original meaning of the word Nikah is wedding. In Quran, it is been exclusively referred as contract of marriage. So the simple definition for Nikah is, or marriage, is a legal and social contract between two individuals. I am sure in the first semester of your law exams you have written exams on Hindu law, where you have studied Hindu law as a sacramental ceremony, but here in Muslim law it's legal and social contract between two individuals. One should remember the difference very clearly, and I will also refer a case study for that in my next slide. As per Amir Ali, marriage is an institution ordained for the protection of society and in order that human beings may guard themselves from foulness and unchastity. This is the definition from Amir Ali, and AA5Z also given a definition where he says it's a contract for the legalization of intercourse and the procreation of children. So he is covering two major aspects in his definition. Quite a easy definition when it comes to 5Z. He covers intercourse and procreation of children in his definition of marriage. And remember the most key word, that is contract, also covered under 5Z's definition. Moving on, this is a major sunnat from Prophet. The Prophet has clearly forbidden people from celibacy. Celibacy is nothing that the meaning of celibacy is abstaining from marriage and sexual relations. Prophet clearly said that is not okay in Islam. It is referred that he said, "O young people, whoever amongst you can marry should marry, because it helps him lower his gaze and guard his modesty, and whoever is not able to marry should fast, as fasting is a shield for him from his desires." So Prophet has given quite high importance for the marriage, and marriage is a vital part of Muslims' life. In fact, marriage is so important in the religion of Islam that it is declared to be one half of one's life. So the marriage is the most important in the most important conduct for an Islam person. It is considered as one half of one's life. So that's majorly covered from the Sunnat. The first case study I am referring is Abdul Qadir versus Salima. There might be a question on this, that is marriage sacramental in Muslim? Your answer should be no, because it was in this case where Abdul Qadir versus Salima, the court has held that marriage is purely a civil contract. It's not a sacramental ceremony in Muslim. यहाँ पे आपको याद रखना पड़ेगा, मुस्लिम में शादी जो है वो सिविल कॉन्ट्रैक्ट होता है, बल्कि हिंदू के जैसे सैक्रमेंटल सेरेमनी नहीं होता है. यह बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट फैक्ट इन मुस्लिम मैरिज. मूविंग ऑन, I am covering essentials of Nikah. There are 4 major essentials in Nikah. I'll quickly take you through these 4 elements slide by slide, but for initially let us know on a quick glance क्या होता है ये 4 essentials. The first thing is, in the definition it is very clear that Muslim marriage is a legal and civil contract. Considering that it's quite easy for anybody to remember the facts that we have learned in contract, where there is proposal and acceptance, and then there is consideration. If you remember the examples that we have written for contract, where one person proposes to sell something, the other one accepts to buy the same thing with some consideration. But here in this marriage we don't buy or sell anything, but definitely the concepts of proposal and acceptance and consideration will remain in Muslim marriage. The third important essential for Muslim marriage is competency of parties, and the fourth factor is prohibited degree of relationship. One should remember that unlike Hindu marriage where we have Safinda relationship, there is no reference in Islam on Safinda relationship, because the concept of Pindadan is not at all available in Islam. So that is not there, but however prohibited degree of relationship is available under the Islam law. So remember, these are the 4 facts you need to remember. 1, proposal and acceptance. 2, consideration. Competency of parties and prohibited degree of relationship are the 4 essentials of Nikah. I'm not saying these are the only 4 essentials for Muslim marriage, but these are the 4 major essentials as far as Muslim marriages are considered. Moving on, proposal and acceptance. The proposal and acceptance as per the Arabic word are called ijab and kabul. Ijab is offer from one party and kabul is acceptance from the other party. Now one should remember that the ijab and kabul should happen in the same meeting and with reciprocity. The meaning, एक मीटिंग में हम मिलेंगे और बताएंगे मुझे शादी करना है, ईजाब, और दूसरा पार्टी बोलेगा 4 दिन के बाद बताएंगे, कबूल नहीं होगा. इट शुड बी इन द सेम मीटिंग. जहाँ जब पहली बार मिलते हैं तो बोलेगा एक पार्टी को शादी करना है, ईजाब, तो दूसरा पार्टी को वहीं पे बोलना पड़ेगा वो शादी कबूल है. और रेसिप्रोसिटी आता है विद डोर और मेहर. I'll cover little bit upon that part also in the consideration part. So there should not be any negotiation on door or meher. It should be told by one party and it should be accepted by the other party. So this is covered under one meeting and reciprocity. One meeting where the one party says ijab and the other party says kabul, means one proposes and the other one accepts, and one party offers the of course the bridegroom offers the meher or door to the bride, and it should be accepted by the bride in the same meeting. So that's very important. There is no negotiation as such. And then there should be witness for this marriage. So there should be proposal, there should be acceptance. It should happen in one meeting, and there should not be any negotiation for the door or meher, and there should be a witness for Muslim marriage. But again, as you all aware, Muslim has two different school of thoughts. One is Sunni and Shia. Sunnis believe that as per Sunni marriages, there should be two males as witness in the marriage. In case if there is only one male, then there should be another two females should be there as witness. So you have two opportunities. The first one, two males can be witness. That's straight clear. If two males are not there, then there can be one male along with two females, so it becomes three witnesses in that case, and that's the requirement under Sunnis. But as far as Shias are concerned, if the marriage is happening between two adults, then there is no requirement for any uh, witnesses for that particular marriage. However, in case of minor marriage under guardian supervision, सो पापा के सामने नहीं तो ग्रैंडफादर के सामने शादी हो रहा है, माइनर का शादी हो रहा है. लेट्स अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज मेजर एंड माइनर आल्सो इन द कमिंग स्लाइड्स. There is lot of difference between the minor and major that we learnt in Hindu Marriages Act, and here I'll cover up that also. So if the अगर शादी होता है फादर के सामने नहीं तो ग्रैंडफादर के सामने माइनर का शादी होता है, तो दो विटनेस का ज़रूरत होता है शिया में. सो रिमेंबर, सुन्नी में एडल्ट का शादी होना हो, माइनर का शादी होना हो, जहाँ वी नीड टू males as witness, and in case of there is only one male, then there should be two other females who should be the witness. In case of Shia, if the marriage is happening between two adults, then there is no requirement of any witness as such. However, in case of minor marriage, where the guardian is supervising the marriage, then there is requirement of two witness for valid marriage under Shia. In case of absence of witness, marriage is not considered as void but considered as irregular. I think I will try cover the concept of irregular and other concepts which are coming under Muslim law in my future classes. But however, you need to remember that the marriage will not be considered as void in absence of witnesses, but will be considered as irregular. The second important requirement for Islam or Muslim marriage is consideration. Consideration is told, or the Arabic word for consideration is meher, or it can also be called as dower. Dower in English translation of Islamic meaning of meher. Dower refers to the payment from the husband or his family to the wife, especially to support her in the event of his death. The meher is often paid to the bride in parts. Remember, this is one of the major difference between in India between Hindu and Muslim marriages. In Hindu marriages, we hear a lot about dowry, which is prohibited, where the girl gives, a girl's party or bride party gives money to the bridegroom, whereas in Islam, the bridegroom gives meher or dower to the bride, and this is to ensure that her safety is taken care in absence of her husband, majorly during the death. Though that's can be considered as consideration in contract, but however it's not exactly the consideration of contract act which we have studied. So one need to remember that there is a difference between the consideration that we have studied in contract act versus the consideration that, or meher or dower, that we are studying in Muslim marriages. Though they resemble, it cannot be called or considered with any other contract like sale contract or something else, because the first thing is the dower is usually fixed after the marriage. In contract, what happens, one party offers, the other party accepts. The consideration is fixed in the offer and acceptance itself, but mostly in Muslim marriage the dower is decided after the marriage. That's one thing, it differs from the regular contract consideration to Islam marriage contract. The second important fact is, in contract act the consideration is equal to the thing that one is selling, the offerer is selling. But here dower does not mean to equal of bride price, or uh, I think you're understanding. It's not like, it's not a weighing capacity here, but uh, a consideration given for the security of the bride. The third one is, in contract, owner sells and gets the consideration, but here the bride get marries and she gets the consideration. So there is a difference between the contract's consideration and dower here again. So it's not consideration equal to any other sales contracts. So there are different types of dovers, prompt to prompt dovers, deferred dovers. There are different types of dovers also. Uh, Moving on to the next slide, competency of parties. We need to remember that the competency of parties is not same as Hindu marriages in Islam marriages. Uh, like in Hindu Marriage Act, we have studied that for the bridegroom the age is minimum 21 years, and for the bride it is 18 years. But here it is 15 years for both bride and bridegroom. Though the Child Marriage Restraint Act of 1929 says the age limit, that doesn't apply to the Muslim marriage, because a Muslim law speaks mostly on puberty. The word puberty meaning, I have just brought the dictionary meaning of the word meaning puberty, the period during which adolescent reach sexual maturity and become capable of reproduction. So there are two major aspects here when it comes to puberty. One is the sexual maturity, and the second one is capable of reproduction. There is a definition under given by Prophet also on this. Puberty is the point whereby a girl has had her first period, and by which the girl becomes accountable to Allah for her actions. So menstruation or period is also considered as puberty. So that's the definition available there. So there are again different age group under different school of thoughts under Islam. Hidayah says boy should be 12 and girl should be 9 for marriage, and Hanafi school says both should be 15, and Shia school says menstruation cycle for girl is the competency of party. In the case of Nawab Sadiq Ali Khan versus Jai Kishori, it was held that puberty for girl is at the age of 9. So it differs between the different schools, but puberty is one of the major requirement for Islam marriage. So that's under competency of parties. Moving on, prohibited degree of relationship. The last part is prohibited degree of relationship. We have studied prohibited degree of relationship under Hindu law also, but here again I have made 4 major parts under prohibited degree of relationship. This itself is a new big chapter, but I'll take through this slide very quickly. I might try cover this again in one of my class. There are 4 major types of prohibited degrees available. The first one is absolute prohibition. We have 3 major terms here under absolute prohibition: Kurabat, Musharat and Riza. These are the Arabic terms that are used under absolute prohibition: Kurabat, Musharat and Riza. Consanguinity, affinity and fosterage. The second one is relative prohibition, that is unlawful conjunction, polygamy. Polygamy is a man marrying more than 4 women. Under Islam law, one can marry 4 women, but 5th woman is not valid. So that's relative prohibition. Then iddat is the period when Muslim wife loses her husband, and from that day to next 4 months and 10 days period is called iddat. During that period, 4 months and 10 days period, nobody can marry her again. This has a scientific reason that if she was pregnant by previous husband, that should be observed. So that's why they have kept this gap. That period is called as iddat. Then absence of proper witness is also coming under relative prohibition, and different religion is also one of the relative prohibition under Islam marriage. Prohibitory prohibition, there are two major prohibitory prohibition. One is polyandry. A Muslim lady cannot marry two men at a time. And then Muslim women marrying non-Muslim men. There is a lot of M, W, N, all of them are there. So I have just put a shortcut. I am reading it again for your reference. Muslim women marrying non-Muslim men. I think they are using the word kitabiya or kitabi, something that she cannot marry, a Muslim woman cannot marry a non-Muslim man. That is prohibitory prohibition. Then we have directory prohibition, which covers marrying a pregnant woman, that one cannot marry a pregnant woman, and prohibition of divorce, marriage during pilgrimage, marriage against the doctrine of equality are covered under directory prohibition. So absolute prohibition, relative prohibition, prohibitory prohibition, and directory prohibition are the four major prohibitions available under Islam marriages. I will try cover that in some of my classes. I have brought the three major aspects of first chapter, that is consanguinity and two other parts, just to take you through what are the prohibited decrees. This we have almost seen in Hindu laws also, but then there is a bit of difference here and there. The prohibition on the ground of consanguinity is prohibition to marry some of the blood relations, that is his mother or his grandmother, howsoever, his daughter or granddaughter, how low soever, his sister, full consanguine or uterine, his niece or great niece, how low soever, and his aunt or great aunt, both on father's side and mother's side, how high soever. This is consanguinity, also called as kurabat. And then the second one, the affinity, musharat. Musharat, the prohibition on the ground of affinity relates to the prohibition of marrying certain persons, relationship with whom arises on account of marriage. That is one's wife, mother or grandmother, how high soever. One can't marry his wife's mother or grandmother because he has already got a relationship there, and then he cannot continue. Then one's father's wife or father's wife, how high soever, that is also not possible. One's wife's daughter or granddaughter, how low soever, and one's son's wife or son's wife, how low soever, is not it's prohibited. And fosterage, that is riza, all schools of the Sunnis and the Shias agree that prohibited relationship arises on the basis of fosterage, but they differ in detail. The Shias take the view that foster relationship arises only when the child has been actually nourished at the breast of the foster mother. So I think rest of the things you can read through. I have collected these notes and put it here for your better understanding. So I am closing my session here. So this chapter, just to brief you again, we have covered the definition of Nikah and why Nikah is important in Muslim law, what Prophet has to say about Nikah, that everyone should marry or stay in fast to control the desires and other stuff. That's been covered, and I have covered the four major essentials of Muslim marriage, that is offer and acceptance, consideration, and all other stuffs. So you can go through the presentation again and take the screenshots, mostly covered from a few book notes and my references. Hope that helps, and I will meet you guys in next class. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe me for more videos. Thank you.